Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited to take you on the next leg of our adventures. I have been kind of going around Washington for a while now and seeing various sites. What a lot of people don't know is that Olympic is quite large, the national park. You'll be going in and out and see signs that say welcome to Olympic or now leaving Olympic, and you'll think, oh my goodness, how big is this park? Well, today we're going to be going to the Hurricane Ridge Visitor Center and also up to Hurricane Ridge to find out just how large Olympic National Park really is. And you guys are coming with me. I went ahead and made it to the visitor center. I'm gonna meet Riley here in just a little bit, but while we're waiting on her, I'm gonna go ahead and go inside and see if they don't have a patch. I'm so excited. I haven't been here in 3 years, guys. Three years. And so I'm really happy to be back. It's just a wonderful feeling. And the visitor center here is very nice. Let me show you what all's inside. Here they are. Oh yeah, we found one, but there's another one over here. So I might get both of them to commemorate both stops. Okay, now that I picked up my patches, let me show you a few of the things that are in the visitor center. Now, if you're looking to come here, I always encourage you to stop off at all of the visitor centers. They tell a very unique story, but this one in particular is amazing because of a couple things I'm about to show you. If you are looking to find out about plant life here at the Olympic National Park, they have a full catalog of listings right here for you to kind of go through and find. You see they have the pressed leaves themselves, and then they also have a photo of what it would look like in the wild and a description of it. So this entire area right here is very useful for getting out and adventuring in the park, so you'll kind of be able to identify a few things. Also, along this row right here, you can see what some of the tracks that are here in the park look like. They have everything from the big predators like cougars down to river otters and ravens, and it just keeps going on and on. But also you can see what the skull of each one of these looks like. It's pretty fascinating to see up close and personal. And the nice thing about this is you can get a good look at it, but you can also get a good feel for it. So while you're out in the wilderness, if you see something like this, you'll know what to expect, so you can be a little bit more adamant about looking around. And of course, there's a bunny here. In fact, it's the snowshoe hare. And here you can see what its little feet look like, its tiny skull, and then also you can pet the little rabbit pelt, which is super cute and sad at the same time. Now you might recall whenever we were staying at the Ho Rainforest at the Ho Oxbow, we saw little bunnies, and those were actually, in fact, snowshoe hares. Inside this case, you can get a good look at what all of the different kinds of fungi or mushrooms look like that are found in the forest, and tells you a little bit more about each one of them. Now, they do not encourage you to pick anything out of the forest, so keep that in mind. This is a huge slice of a tree, but it tells you a little bit more about how long it took for this tree to grow from here all the way out, with these little markers. So 1349 is when this tree would have started. And at the time, only the Native Americans or First Nations would have lived here. By 1492, when Columbus was supposedly discovering this new world, the tree had made it out this far. And it keeps going. Here's the Mayflower right here. And the next notable piece is the Declaration of Independence. So between 1620 and 1776, there was a huge growth here. Between 1776 and 1872, when Yellowstone was first named a national park, you can see the growth. And here in 1938, you can see Olympic National Park was actually created. So even after that, there was growth on this tree up until it was cut down. I am 5'7". I barely come up over the center notch. Now, mind you, there is a little foot-tall step up here. So I would definitely say that it's a little bit of an increase, but I barely come up over half of the tree. It's huge. Here in the visitor center also you can learn more about the landscapes and then also the creatures that roam. Of course, everybody wants to know a little bit more about some of the creatures, so there is a touch station and you can touch this and find out what an elk actually feels like. And along the way you'll notice that there are some of these sections that have braille also, so it makes it super accessible to us all. Now, a couple of interesting facts. The trees here, they're considered to be an ancient forest, and they're anywhere between 250 and 700 years old, some of them. it's amazing to see not only the new growth, but those huge, big guys who've told so many stories throughout the years and seen so many things. In addition to some of the creepier facts, like how you're sharing the wilderness with guys like this. Yeah, always be on the watch out, and also check into the visitor center because they will tell you a little bit more about what you need to do if you encounter something like this. Last but not least, we tie some of the pieces of the coast together with this vessel. This is actually a vessel that was created and used by the Native Americans when they were whale hunting. And you can see what that would have looked like inside with the mats, the boxes, the hand carvings, and then also the illusion of the shadow behind us to kind of paint the picture of them floating on the sea. In addition, there are a couple of different signs that tell you a little bit more information. Definitely check this one out. It's something you're going to want to find out about when you're visiting some of those coastal locations. Okay guys, I got some tips for dog-friendly sites and then also a map so we can kind of navigate around. But look at this. As soon as you walk out of the visitor center, there is this cabin, and this is the Beaumont cabin. This log cabin was actually built in 1887, and it was located at a different location, but it actually was moved here for us to be able to see, which is super cool. Now, this was the man who had the cabin, and we're about to look inside and see what it's like. As you can see, it's a pretty decent space in there. They have a nice fire. It looks like there's a baby crib, a rocker, another chair, some nice windows, and you can look at the ceiling and notice that it is very interestingly put together, very similar to some other cabins that we've seen. Here we have some of the kitchen equipment. It looks like maybe a wash basin also. There's the bed in the background. Again, not anything too crazy fancy, but this would have been a family style home. Now, one thing that van life has taught me is that you don't actually need as much space as you think you do. But back in these days, they were already living that lifestyle. It wasn't until later on that your home size began to start to mark your ability to like show the world that you had money. So these cabins were actually very small. As you can see, there's another person walking past, so not big at all, but very much so. They were able to function in that space. It just goes to show that we don't need all the things that we think we do. Now, a couple of other things that you can find here, in fact, right here, are some bear cans. So if you are in the backcountry, you do have to register for permits in a lot of places in Olympic. And there's some information in there about that, but also you can get your bear can. So that's kind of neat too. Let's go find Riley. She should be here somewhere. Okay, I came up to the parking lot. Riley's not here yet, so we're gonna wait for her. But while we do, I'm gonna go ahead and put my patches on my ceiling. I did pick up both of them. I thought I need them because I stopped off in two separate areas, so this commemorates both of those areas. We'll say that this one is for the hoe, and this one is for a Hurricane Ridge, which we're about to go up to, and I'm so excited. Now, there is a dog-friendly trail that departs out from the visitor center, so that's good. And I found another couple of places that might be interesting to you guys if you're interested in bringing along your furry friends. Let me show you. Do you see this map? This is actually Hurricane Ridge, and in the parking lot you can have your dogs, but there's also this like unpaved road that's kind of like a gravel road that you can actually walk kind of along the ridge line with your puppy. But those are the only places that you're allowed to have little Fido along Hurricane Ridge. Otherwise, your little dog has to stay inside your vehicle. Now, in addition, there is that little trail outside of the visitor center. And then over here by Lake Crescent, there is a trail on one side that is like a railroad trail. That's an old railroad area, and you can take your dog there also. Other than that, Rialto Beach, which is where we were the other day, is dog friendly. And then down here along the Ruby Beach all the way down to First Beach is actually dog friendly also. Now, you might be saying, that's not a lot. I want to be able to bring my dog out to other places in the national park. Well, you're not supposed to. Unfortunately, a lot of the national parks do have limited accessibility to dog friendliness. No. Unfortunately, a lot of the national parks are becoming less and less dog friendly. It's just part of it. Part of that can be accounted for by the fact that people weren't picking up after their pooch. Another part of that is because smaller dogs or bigger dogs can put you in a hazardous place when it comes to wildlife and animals. So they want to limit that kind of thing from happening. So it's always important to go into the park office to check to see what trails or what areas are dog friendly. And so I encourage you guys to do that. It's not something that I would personally think about because I don't travel with a dog. But since I've been traveling with Tyson over the past few weeks, it's made me start thinking about those things and how some of those areas are just not as dog friendly, and it's just kind of how it is. Okay, the question is, where do I put these now? There's a lot going on up here. This has been a really great way to commemorate all of the adventures, and I recommend to you guys, if you have a headliner like this, to do this project because it just helps you to track all the places that you've been in a really creative way and not clutter up your van. If you're traveling in a car and can take things home, that's one thing. But if you're traveling in your recreational vehicle, your RV, your truck camper or something like that, a lot of times we don't have a lot of space for the things. So the ceiling, it's a good one. Okay guys, so I am heading up to Hurricane Ridge. Riley texted me and said she was almost here, but when I pulled up her GPS, she actually went on past the visitor center and toward Hurricane Ridge. So there was a little disconnect there, but that's okay. We have our park pass. We're about to go through the toll booth area and then up to the ridge we go. So yeah, this is gonna be a super beautiful day, and I wanna share some of the views with you guys. So I hope you enjoy this drive up to Hurricane Ridge. America the Beautiful Pass, every single time, best $80 investment that I have made by far. This gets you into every single national park and is for 1 calendar year. In fact, it's August and mine ends in August, so I'm gonna have until the end of this month, and then I'm gonna have to re-up this bad boy, but that's okay. I am prepared because this is, again, the best investment that I make as a content creator who travels across the United States. Definitely recommend this. Okay, we made it to the top and it is cold outside, like considerably colder than it was whenever we were down lower. So I'm gonna be putting on my jacket and I found Riley. Yay! Hi. Okay, so we are now going to go explore a little bit of Hurricane Ridge, and it is gorgeous up here, although it is cooler. Again, jacket, and also the fog is just like rolling across, so the visibility kind of changes every couple of minutes as more fog rolls in. But what I can see right now is so pretty. Riley, what do you think?
It's gorgeous. I walked around for a little bit, just kind of up and down the parking lot, and when the fog rolled in, you couldn't see anything. Now it's cleared up and it's beautiful.
Absolutely. There's still snow on the mountains. The visitor center on the top part of Hurricane Ridge is right over here, so we're gonna go over there and check it out, and then probably gonna go somewhere over here just for a few minutes and kind of get some of the views along this ridge. Now, I have been here before and it was amazing, but I've noticed a few things have changed since I was here last, so let's go and check out what exactly. Clearly today there is a Mini Cooper convention on the top of the mountain. It's pretty cool. There's so many of them. It's just been really fun to see them all driving out. I saw one and then another and then another, and then like 20 later I was like, ooh, I should pick up my camera and show you guys. This was awesome. Okay guys, we came into the visitor center. They actually have a little cafe here, so I'm debating on eating something. In the meantime, browsing around a little bit, some super cool things. Okay, we just came outside of the visitor center after picking up a couple of drinks, and we have a sign right here that tells us what we can see ahead of us. And you can see there's several different peaks that are visible from Hurricane Ridge. And this is why you want to come up here, so you can see this kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting though, because as you're kind of looking across, you'll see where like the rivers are coming through also. And whenever you look in the more 3D of up this way, it all comes together. In fact, look at this view. Isn't this spectacular? You can see all the way over to Mount Fitzhenry and this side over here, and then all the way across Mount Olympus and Mount Carey, Mount Ferry. You can get up to Chimney Peak, and then as you continue going, you get to Mount Cameron, Obstruction Peak, and then all the way over to Steeple Rock, which is actually kind of hidden right now by that rolling fog. Okay guys, so now that we are here at the lookout, it's a beautiful view as you can see, and there's a couple of other signs also with information. But a couple things that you always need to remember is whenever you're looking out on these areas, look for the signs that tell you if you can or cannot stand on certain areas, because anything beyond this wall right here is technically protected. So you're not supposed to stand on it. However, today we're seeing a lot of people who are going beyond that and standing in this grassy area, which is protected. So don't be that person. Don't do it, guys. I know it's a really nice place to take a photo, but you can stand on the wall even, or even sit on it, but don't stand on the grass. That's what keeps it available to us, is that we follow these rules. So I just wanted to share that, and now let's get back to some beautiful views. See guys, signs like this are everywhere here telling you not to be on the grass. And you can see where people have stood on the grass, in fact, because there's these little brown dead spots. And then also like right along here where you can see people clearly have been traipsing along. And that's environmentally very dangerous for this particular area. You might not know it whenever you come up to the top of the world like this, but this is actually a very unique environment with a very unique ecosystem. And so we want to protect it as much as we possibly can. Now I know that's not something super fun to talk about, but at the same time, again, it's our duty as people visiting these places to kind of keep that in mind when it comes to all of these spaces. And so I wanted to do my part today, and I hope you've enjoyed my public service announcement, but we're gonna go and check out a trail now so you can see why it's important to protect this environment and what makes this place so special. Now, while visiting the top of Hurricane Ridge, there's a few different trails that you can go on. We're here and we are going to go on the Rim Trail, and this is a 0.75 mile trail overall. But you'll notice there's also Big Meadow. Big Meadow is only 0.25, and then the High Ridge Trail, which is the most unpaved and also steep, this one is 0.5. So all these have different viewpoints and you can go to different places. Now, I have taken a portion of the Big Meadow and then also of the Rim Trail, but I picked it up kind of in between. So today we're going to hit it from kind of the end. Look at what we found, guys. Those people were just coming down the trail and a deer walked out. So now we're just observing from a distance. Wasn't that cool? That was super cool, and it was super close. It just shows that at any given time, you could be just walking through the wilderness and see something. So always keep your eyes open. You know, not always does it have to be like a predator. Sometimes it can be a beautiful, beautiful deer. That is an invigorating feeling to be that close. I will say it was gorgeous. And just as soon as it kind of came out, I don't see it anymore. So yeah, let's just keep going. Okay, so we came down this part that kind of cuts off and supposedly goes to a dead end. However, this starts to get super steep down through here. It doesn't look it on the camera, but definitely a drop off. So we're debating on if we should just go on the rim trail on the proper part as opposed to the off-roading section over here. We're going to talk about this real quick, but yeah, we're making lots of noise, blah, 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 so that we let the animals out here know that we are here. After seeing that deer, that means there are other things. Now, at the beginning of the trail, it says on this trail, they have both bear and also cougars, mountain lions. So we're trying not to encounter any of those. So making noise is the best way that they can hear us coming so they're not out in the middle. Now, I haven't seen any accounts of bears on this trail recently in my research. However, if there is a sign, that means it has happened. So keep your eyes open. So Riley, are we going down? Are we going down?
Yes.
That means we have to come out.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
She wants us to get our workout on today, I see. So we have elected to go down the steep part. This should be fun. And oh, it's one of those that you kind of go with your feet fast and at an angle. So here we go. Riley, it's steeper than you thought, isn't it?
Yes, but these hiking sandals are surprisingly good grippiness on the bottom.
Yeah, I didn't wear my hiking boots today. Now, if you've been with my channel very long, you know that whenever I wear these shoes, this is when I typically have the interesting moments in life. So I'm going to be very careful with each of my steps. And I would probably recommend, if you are coming down here, to wear hiking boots or hiking sandals, just because that is very steep. But we're going to be okay. We will push through. Riley, you're super far ahead. Oh no! So what this tells me is, now I have to make noise all by myself. Oh, that's one of my weird noises that I make. I also sing out loud, but I can't sing any of my songs because, well, they're copywritten. So we're just gonna continue making weird noises. Hi bears, don't eat me, don't eat me. Riley,
Yes.
This little trail that's over the side, was that on the map?
I don't think it was, so I don't know if it's part of the trail.
I don't either. It definitely looks like a trail, but I don't believe it was on the map. Now, it may very well be a trail, but it wasn't on the main trail map, so we're not going to go on there just because we're following, again, the rules in the national park. And this didn't have like a little spur off on any of the maps that we saw. Now, if it is an actual trail, that's cool, but I try to be very careful whenever I come here because, again, I want to preserve the areas so that they'll be here for others to come to also. So, since it wasn't on the map, we're not going there. Instead, we're going to check out this viewpoint, which is pretty overcast and ominous looking right now. And then we're going to head back up the super steep and get out to another viewpoint that has some educational signs for us to check out. Okay, right where our trail split off in that direction, there's a little sign about tree islands. It says here that nearby are stunted snow-damaged trees. The distance they stand in solitary clusters, and they are subalpine firs. So you can see kind of what they're talking about out here. What we're looking at right now is called a yarrow, and this was actually a common plant that was used for medicine for centuries. Even the ancient Greeks used this. And you can find out more about the native plants of this area along the trail as you see these tiny little signs. Take a look at them. They have some really interesting facts. Now, what is interesting is right now, off to this side of the trail, you see it's very overcast. You can see the fog still moving. It's really beautiful, but in a very monotonous kind of way. But now just over in the opposite direction, closer to the visitor center, it's starting to clear out just a little bit, and you can see a lot further in this direction. Now, on a clear day on this particular viewpoint, you can actually see into Canada, which is super, super cool. But also, they do a lot of ranger talks at this spot. So whenever you're coming up on this main trail, this is a great place to check to see if they're having a talk, and then just come out and soak in the views. Of course, today it's a little harder because of the fog that's still rolling in, but oh, on a pretty cloudless day, it is gorgeous. Along this trail, there's also a sign here that talks a little bit more about why we wouldn't want to go past those boundaries and beyond the trail. This is about meadow recovery. It says this dirt patch that we're looking at right here is many years old. It has thin soil, very drying winds, and unfiltered sun. During the summer, there's summer frost, and meadow plants will thrive, but they grow very slowly. However, whenever you're stepping onto this ground just beyond the path here, it actually damages those, and then they cannot survive. So over time, things die and never return back. And you can see, as we're looking up here, there's a few scattered plants, and then in other areas, there's just nothing. So on this side, you can see this meadow has clearly not been trod through quite as much, and you can see the beautiful grasses and a few small like flowers, and then the trees themselves, and it's gorgeous. And you can definitely tell that they're taking care of this area because of its unique environment, and I really appreciate that. Seeing something like this on the top of a massive mountain that has views into not only the United States but also Canada is just spectacular. And so even though I've mentioned it a few times, I do that because of this very reason. I want to be able to continue to see these places, and I know you do too. So I appreciate whenever they mark things so that people can see those things and also learn a little bit more along the way. Also, as you're going along the trails, you'll see remains from various animals who have been through this area. And so if you go down to the visitor center at the first entrance up to Hurricane Ridge, it talks about the footprints and also what to expect. But there's a little bit of information about scat too. It's ugly, it's gross, it's a little smelly, but at the same time it tells you what's around you. So knowing something as simple as the poo, it can be really handy. In fact, there's entire books that help you to identify the animals around you based on what they leave behind. And I've looked at some of those, it's quite fascinating, and you can learn a lot about how animals move through an area. So check that out for sure. Here's an interesting fun fact, the difference between 1945 and what they expect 2045 to look like. And it shows here that this very meadow that's in front of us, again, a little overcast, a little gloomy, but they say here that change is constant. Research is showing that the wetter summers started in the 1940s, and they allowed an invasive species of firs to start to be seen more and more in this area. In almost 100 years, this scene may turn into a fully dense forest as opposed to a meadow area. And from those two photos, I think you can tell that there is a huge difference in how many trees are actually up here. In fact, as you look at where this old decommissioned ski lift is, you can see that they've basically surrounded it and engulfed it, and they're gobbling it up whole. Now, the last time I was up here versus this time, they've made some improvements to this little cabin. This is the Olympic Ski Patrol, and you can see that this is a cabin that they could actually stay in and be located up here so that they could do their rescue missions. We get a little bit better look at the old lift here, and it is still here, still has wires. And Riley's at the High Ridge Trail marker right here. And from there you can see the remainder of the lift right here. And also, there's a couple of other things. You can get to Sunrise Point up here, and you'll notice it also has the elevation, which is 5,471 feet. And right here, it shows that a short spur trail ends at Sunrise Point, and on clear days, you can have panoramic views. Now, there isn't a clear day today, so there's not going to be a great view from up there, unfortunately. And that's the unfortunate part about coming to Hurricane Ridge. You never know what to expect when it comes to visibility as a whole. It moves, it fluctuates, it changes. And so whenever you come, visitor centers will give you a little bit better idea of what to expect when it comes to sun up, sun down, and then also what the visibility conditions are. Now, fun fact, guys, there's actually an active live stream camera that is located on the top of Hurricane Ridge. So you can also get an idea as to what it's like up here before you come up. So do that if you have some signal whenever you're in town. It's well worth it. We were on our way back to the van, and right down here, there are 2 more deer, literally right by the parking lot. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer and show you. They're just grazing. They're so beautiful. Okay guys, as you can see, Hurricane Ridge was not only beautiful to get to, but beautiful to experience in person. It is gorgeous up here, and even though it was a little chilly walking around, I worked up quite the warmth. So I encourage you guys to come out to the Hurricane Ridge specifically because this is a place that you're going to have those spectacular views, but also you're going to learn a little bit more about some of the different things you can experience at different parts of the park. Now again, there are so many different places in Olympic that you will absolutely love. So if you're coming out, try this one, try a few of the others, and I'll show you a few of the others on an upcoming episode, I'm hoping. Crossing my fingers that we can get to a couple more of them. Overall though guys, this isn't one you're going to want to miss. Remember guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time, and places like this with all this natural beauty definitely are that. You can get out and stretch your legs, breathe in some of that mountain air, and get some spectacular views. Till next time guys, bye!